بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. It's really important to always question the contemporary Hanbali contribution to the Madhab. Questioning it is not because of only the lack of qualifications, which is something that we need to consider, definitely need to consider, but it is also because these contributions, they were found in places, in areas, in countries in which the madhahib, especially the Hanbali madhab, are not highly appreciated. The contributions of people who do not respect the relied upon position of the madhab, who do not respect the madhab in the first place, should not be accepted without being questioned. Apparently, they serve the madhab. However, there might be other things that they do to destroy the madhab. The Salafi contributions have to be questioned. The contemporary contributions, they have to be questioned. Salafi or not, to be honest. There has been what we call a fatra, 100 years of nothing. Very few people. Alhamdulillah that we had these few people to keep the isnad of the Hanabila connected. We were about to vanish, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed that we remain, and that the true Hanabila remain in this world. I think that you, especially those who really appreciate Ibn Badran, they know about him saying that for 20 years he couldn't find any Hanabila to study with. He stopped studying the Hanbali madhab because of the lack of people who can help him. You know about this. On a side note, you know how students of knowledge on internet, they tend to call themselves names, the names of the Imma. So the names like he would call himself Ibn Muflih, for instance, or Al-Buhuti, something like this, or even Ahmad bin Hanbal. I remember receiving a friend request from Ahmad bin Hanbal once, and I received another friend request from Mansur ibn Yunus al-Buhuti, radiyallahu anhum wa rahimahumullah. It's not logically impossible, but anyways, it's really strange that I find someone who didn't like all these aim. Yani, you call yourself on. It's really a stupid idea that you call yourself something other than your name on social media. I do not understand why and what the motives are. I have no idea why people do this. But anyways, let's forget about this idea. Do whatever you want. You call yourself what? You choose a name for yourself, a name of an imam. Okay, let's see. Ahmad bin Hanbal, okay. طيب Abu Dawud al-Sistani, for instance, no. موفق الدين بن قدامة, no. مجد الدين بن تيمية, تقي الدين بن تيمية, أبو الوفاء بن عقيل, أبو الخطاب الكلوزاني, القاضي أبو يعلى, no. ابن مفلح, no. البهوتي بن النجار الحجاوي, no. السفاريني, no. Ibn Badran. What is this? What happens in these people's minds, regardless of how I see Ibn Badran? I want someone to think of Ibn Adran as a good person who served the madhab and who helped the madhab, whose books are really accurate and everything. Is he better than these names I mentioned? Is he better than these names? These names are well-established scholars in the Hanbali madhab. Ibn Adran was what? Other than the madkhal to the madhab, which is full of mistakes, and the hashiyah on Rawdat al-Nadir, how do we benefit from Ibn Badran? Madkhal is full of mistakes. But let me put it like this: when you are too ignorant to know what a mistake is and what the correct thing is, you appreciate everything. You appreciate everything. And you tend to appreciate everything in an emotional way, in a way that relies heavily on your desires, what you call preferences. This is not for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not for the sake of the madhab, which should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is for the sake of you, your people, your group, your sect. One of the examples, let's go back to the original topic. One of the examples of how the contemporary Shaykh or people might contribute to the Hanbali madhab in a way that should not be accepted and that should be questioned, and questioning it will definitely lead you to uncovering the mistakes and uncovering the problems with these contributions, is what we mentioned in the foundational principles of the Hanbali madhab, page 9, when we were talking about the phases of the madhab, when we were talking about the phases of the madhab. Yes, it's page 9. Footnote 9. We discussed what Shaykh Bakr Abu Zayd mentioned about adding or considering a new phase after the 3 phases. So we have the phase of al-mutaqaddimin, the phase of al-mutawassitin, the phase of al-mutaakhirin, and all this was explained in the book. I said Shaykh Bakr Abu Zayd titled this post-mutaakhirin phase as the phase of reviving the heritage. The heritage is probably revived by him and his people. See Al-Madkhal Al-Mufassal, volume 1, page 136, and it begins with the modern age and mass printing. So the beginning of this phase, what distinguishes this phase? Printing and mass printing and the modern age, something. Okay. Its features are further verification of the Hanbali heritage and the publishing and the editing of the classical works. I said, however, the statements of Shaykh Bakr can easily be objected to, which shows the fragility of his contribution. For instance, what are the features that distinguish the post-mutaakhirin phase? We call it post-mutaakhirin. So we have al-mutaakhirin, we have post-mutaakhirin. Further verification is not a distinguishing factor because it is the continuation of the same process that took place in the previous phase or phases. In addition to this, publishing and editing previous works do not distinguish the claimed phase from the 3 other phases, unless it is absurdly claimed that the means of technology affects the knowledge of the Hanbali madhab. New ways of publishing, new ways of editing, this is not a new phase in the madhab. This doesn't add to the knowledge of the madhab. Instead of have, imagine this, imagine this is just a hypothetical situation. In the phase of al-mutawassitin, before printing and before everything, after Ibn Qudama's death, for instance, 620, the way the Hanbali books were copied, I will not say printed, they were copied by just like giving someone some money to copy the book, and that's it, to copy the book 100 times. So he's spending most of the year copying a book or so. One book, 100 copies. Imagine this, if we developed it in 950 or 909 or any year, if we developed it by doing what? We had a house dedicated to this process. So we had more than 20 people doing the same job. This is what distinguishes the phase of al-mutaakhirin from the phase of al-mutawassitin. Furthermore, in both Arabic and English, the word revival, ihya, as he said it, carries the meaning of repetition, which cannot be distinguishing unless it includes an unprecedented contribution. Ihya, to revive, means that he was alive, something was alive, a person was alive, and then died, and then he or it was brought back to life again. This is just the repetition of something that happened. We have to think good of people and have husn al-dhann. Yes. But I do not have husn al-dhann in al-Wahhabiyya. I do not have husn al-dhann in people like Bakr Abi Zayd. His madkhal is praised by mashayikh. Okay, it's fine, and it's full of good information. This shows that the man read a lot of books, knew about them, and it is also full of inaccurate observations. If you are dedicated to something, it will make a huge difference. If you're not dedicated and you're just doing it, and your intention has got a lot of problems, this will not make your work as perfect as it should be. And remember what Imam Malik said about his Muwatta, when other people authored Muwatta'at, books similar to his Muwatta, he said, مَا كَانَ لِلَّهِ بَقِي. Or what he said, radiyallahu anhu, that if it's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's for Allah's sake, it remains. In my opinion, the book of Ibn Badran, the book of Bakr Abi Zayd, the other books authored by Wahhabiyya on this topic, they are not books that you can rely on. Because they are Wahhabiyya and you are against them. No. When you study Rawd al-Murba', I tell you, read the Hashiyah of Ibn Qasim, although it's full of things that needs to be corrected. Read the Hashiyah of Al-Anqari, read the Hashiyah of Ababtin. Ababtin was actually better than Al-Anqari and was better than Ibn Qasim. It's not about being a Wahhabi. It's not about being a Wahhabi. Actually, if you see some of the papers I wrote in the Hanbali Madhab, you would understand that I take their positions into consideration when it's a fiqhi matter. The issue is when your Wahhabiyya, when your Wahhabi attitude prevents you from seeing al-haq, or when your Wahhabi attitude makes you or pushes you, affects you in a way that that makes your contributions full of mistakes and full of problems. I hope that this was beneficial, at least for the students of the Hanbali Madhab. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.